Alright, when I post this on YouTube, it's going to the audio and the sound. Wait, the audio isn't sound. The sound and the video won't line up because that's how it goes. I don't really know. Alright, so here's my speech. Spontaneity. I don't really like it. Alright. Last week, I shot a dinosaur. No, seriously, I did. With a BB gun in my backyard. I shot that sucker right into the armpit. My dad finished him off with a quick shot in the temple. Alright, so maybe the dinosaur was a doodle and a piece of paper taped to a box. And it maybe took me a few tries to hit the dinosaur, but nonetheless, I am a dinosaur hunter. Or at least I was last Sunday. A few months ago, my dad bought a BB gun to shoot with my cousin. Three rambunctious boys who make their mother nervous, and they even bring up the subject of BB guns. They had shot them at Boy Scout camp, and my cousin Theo especially enjoyed it, so my dad decided to be the cool uncle and went out and bought a Red Ryder BB gun. No, my aunt protested. You'll shoot your eye out. But my dad and Theo hunkered down in the grass and hit the lopsided bullseye my dad did. And I thought nothing of the BB gun sitting on the porch until my dad and his friend were trying to hit an apple off the top of the box. Now, I'll be the first to admit I'm a bit of a girly girl. I coo at babies and puppies, swoon at shoes, and shy away from action movies. But still, I wander onto the porch and ask for a lesson in the fine art of BB gun thing. After a few practice shots, I decided we needed a new target, so I drew us a dinosaur and announced that we were going dinosaur hunting. It was a fun afternoon and a great opportunity to spend time with my old man, and best of all, it was completely spur of the moment. But how many people miss out on opportunities such as these because of their spontaneous nature? Instead of going with the flow, we want to control every aspect of our lives. But this unhealthy craving for control is inhibiting the ability to enjoy our lives and to live them to the fullest. Today we'll first examine our need for control and the drawbacks of this need. Then we'll explore the benefits of spontaneity. And finally, we'll find the cure for control. So many people strut around under the impression that they've got it covered. There's nothing to see here. We're fine. But the reality is that no matter how in control you think you are, you always have been and you always will be a slave to circumstance. This idea that we are, in fact, not in control of our lives doesn't just shake us to the core. It makes us shiver in our timbers. Chaos, and all its uncontrollable, unpredictable, destructive glory, terrifies us. We have been taught to believe that disorder is something to be feared. Disorder is something to be feared. When we are young, creativity and spontaneity are glorified. As we grow older and more is expected of us, we start to believe that we can't be creative or spontaneous anymore. In first grade, you write the craziest stories. In middle school, you are so self-conscious that even a simple haiku is too much. You take a high school creative writing class and you are given prompts intended to control the chaos. The age at which we lose our ability to be spontaneous is getting lower and lower. With cities such as Chicago employing a scripted curriculum, opportunities to do what you feel are growing slim. One education official under the Bush administration went so far as to say, teachers don't need creativity. Lessons that we learn at school transfer to lessons at home. And as a result, according to a Newsweek article titled The Playdating Game, interpersonal relationships between children are hurt by the lack of spontaneity. Where in the past, kids had gone over random trips over the fence to the neighbor's trampoline, now they rely on their parents to arrange a date to encourage friendship. Just as spontaneity enhances childhood, a lack of spontaneity actually ages the human body. According to Dr. Jill Morse-Kennick, emotional rigidness and inflexibility leads to muscle tension and other signs of aging. Which makes sense. When you're stiff and worried all the time, you would be physically uncomfortable. But when you just let things go, it's relaxing for both mind and body. Despite the drawbacks of control, we still see spontaneity as a bad thing. Largely because spontaneity can lead to surprises, and no one likes a surprise unless they know that the surprise is going to be a good one. The spontaneity has many applications and benefits in your life. Flying by the seat of your pants does not mean that your pants are going to burst open. Oftentimes, the best parts of your life are the parts that come completely out of the blue. For instance, one of the best days of my past summer happened in Europe. It wasn't a day hiking through the Alps or going to a museum. It was just a morning spent wandering around the Austrian town of Seefeld, occasionally ducking into sidewalk cafes for chocolates or Wiener Schnitzel whenever we were trying to avoid the annoying travelers in our group, eventually finding our way to a frigid lake about a mile out of town. The lake was even cooler because of a floating trampoline at its center. Sophia Colville and I catapulted ourselves into the icy depths. We had no idea of these memorable experiences it turned out to be. But for those of you who are afraid of occasionally making it up as you go, spontaneity is not always about improvisation. Oftentimes it's about keeping calm and making the best of it when plans go awry. When my mother was pregnant with my older sister, she was likely imagining a chatty, bright, beautiful daughter who would sing and dance and idolize princesses and play house in the playroom. When she had me 2 years later, she was likely imagining a matching set of chatty, bright, beautiful daughters who would fight over the dress-up clothes and paint each other's toenails and exchange boy advice. Instead, when I was a baby, my older sister was diagnosed with autism. A mental glitch that in her case was severe enough that Holly would never learn to read, never drive, never attend a prom, and never function with me the way a normal older sister would. But my family didn't set the table for a pity party. Instead, we went with the flow and tested Holly's limits. Could she handle a trip to the museum? A 7-hour car ride to Mesa Verde? How about a trip to Mexico? And if our plans backfired, we started all over again. Sometimes it was annoying. Sometimes it was more fun than the original plan would have been. But it was always exciting, always memorable, always spontaneous. The secret to living spontaneously is deceptively simple. All you have to do is admit and accept that you will not always be in control of the situation. But getting to that place is much harder than you would think. It was only about a year ago that I myself found my way there. It was one of the first debate tournaments of the year, and I was not happy with the way the finals round turned out. I sulked and seethed and pouted and fumed until finally I had an epiphany. I realized that some will win, some will lose, and some are born to sing the blues, but you don't stop believing. Once I decided that tournaments were not all about winning, I found myself enjoying them. It became less about adding ribbons to the so-called wall of success in my bedroom and became more about bonding with my teammates, sharing my passions, and most importantly, becoming a better speaker. Of course, if I break to finals along the way, I'm not complaining, but worrying less about the number on the ballot sheet and more about the experience has given me an even greater love for competition. As author Germaine Greer once said, the essence of pleasure is spontaneity. When you spend all your energy worrying about your problems and trying to plan the unplannable, you sacrifice the ability to lead an enjoyable life. So do yourself a favor. Embrace spontaneity. Go on a weekend trip to the mountains just because it tickles your fancy. See a movie at the Dollar Theater just for the heck of it. And above all, never forget to ask yourself, what do you say to taking chances? Done.